Hey, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, Fabulites. I got some questions for you. Two for one. What opens with Fanny holding a new baby? And what closes with Shar with the new baby of a revenge plot? You know, she's nursing a revenge plot, but it's like a baby. Or is it? If you guessed Harlots, episode 6, season 1, then you're correct. I'm about to review it. Please stick around for my commentary, thoughts, ideas, and recap. All right. So the theme in this episode, or one thing I noticed, was this thing of mothers. We see Charlotte and Charles are lost to their mothers. They're estranged from their mothers in this episode. We also see Miss Harriet, the fake free wife, getting her children back with the help of North. We see Amelia lying to keep a secret from her mother, from Mama Scanwell. And we see Margaret being reunited with her son Jacob. I think that's the one that left with North. So we got a theme going on of mothering and motherhood, and there might, but anyway, that's what I noticed. Okay, so the first scene, we got Fanny looking about 13. That child look young, don't she? And a couple of harlots fawning over the baby. You know how they smell and how cute their little feet are. And Mama Wells looks into the room and she's like, you know how it has to be. We're not a nursery. This is a brothel. She don't say this is a brothel, but this ain't our business now. And then we see we're in the jailhouse with Miss Shar, with Irish, whose name is Daniel Marney. It's probably Marnie, who I call Irish. And he says that he has felt like there is a noose around his neck his whole life. And he's like, only one of us has to die. And Charlotte is like, do you doubt me? Why aren't you telling on my mom and my sister? I think that's kind of impressive to her and kind of surprising. And she's appreciating that. And Irish is like, well, who would believe a desperate man? But it seems like a desperate man could try anything he could try to get free. And he's not trying to hurt her. And I guess since he's felt that way all his life, he's probably dealt in some way with the idea of being dead. So he ain't freaked out about it. Okay, so then we have the free fake white Harriet. And she's at the docks. And she's, she looking. I don't know if I assume she was looking for her children. She could be looking for North, both, she could just be walking there. But I call it the docks, but it looked kind of like, I don't know. I don't know. But she was not in the brothel. Let's just say that. And it didn't look like a nice part of town. Okay, so then we see Fallon. He's in bed and he's stroking his dog. Hey, fella dog. And he's sending a message to the Wells brothel. He says, take that to the Wells brothel or whatever. And then we see Magistrate Cunliffe comes, and Cunliffe is told by Fallon that the Spartans, who are the virgin destroyers, will receive the magistrate tonight with a virgin of exceptional quality, a handmaiden. And the magistrate is like, I need time. The procuress I formerly used is inadequate. And Fallon is like, tonight, be there or be square. Okay, so then we're at the Wells house and we see Lucy and Mama Wells in the dining area, and Lucy receives the contract from Lord Fallon. That's what he was sending over. And he wants to, offer 400 guineas. She has the price of 400 guineas on her head, and she feels like that is really a lot of money. That it's a lot of money, and she's like, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. That's what I should have done in the first place, and we wouldn't have been in this mess. Little girl Lucy is saying, and the mama is like, Mama Wells, I will never force a man on you again. Burn the contract. And she leaves. Okay, so then we're on the street. It's a walk and talk type situation. Cunliffe's assistant has gone up the chain of command regarding this kidnapping. So he talked to his boss. His boss didn't handle it, so he's talking to his boss's boss. And the big boss is like, I've known him, Cunliffe, for 25 years. He's meticulous. Are you sure? And the assistant is like, I was there. Eyewitness, first-hand account. I was there. Okay, so then we see Emily Lacey, and she's at the S&M lady's house, Miss Nancy's place. And it's about 4 or 5 of them talking about how to bring Quig down. They after you, Quigley. They after you, mama. Madam, ma'am. Okay. So then we got Amelia Scamwell. She comes home to find Quigley with her mom. And Quigley is like, you and the Molly boy, that's the guy I call the fancy dress guy, saw Sir George carried out of the Wells house dead. You are a viable, virtuous witness. Testify or, and this is kind of subtle because the mom is right there, but the message is received. She like, I'm going to tell your mom about how much you love by the women, because the mother was like, oh, my daughter is so virtuous. She's loved by women and men. And the brothel lady, what's the child's name? Lydia Quigley is like, she is well loved by the women. So she like, you better go to the justice and tell him that you saw what I said you saw and not what you think you saw or whatever. Or I'm going to tell your mama about how much you love by the ladies. And, so Amelia goes to the justice with the story. Now, she's not really sure. I think she's like, it could have gone anyway. He could have been dead, but he could have not been dead. But I'm not trying to be up here just saying that the man was dead when I'm not sure, because that means somebody else could die. That's a serious thing to be saying is true if you don't know it's true. Okay, so we got that. And then we got Jacob. He's at the docks with his daddy, North. And he says, it's Harriet! And he breaks away from where he's sitting with his dad. And he runs and he hugs Harriet. And, and why are you here? And Harriet's like, to see if I can rescue my children. And North is like, well, here's the update. Lennox has a room here, and he sails on the evening tide. And I kept my word. I'm keeping my word. I'm out here handling this business, because that's the kind of man I am. Yay. Okay, so then we see Madam Quigley, Mrs. Mama Quigley, in Justice Cunliffe's office. And she's like, how'd you like the witness? She's a delightful witness, isn't she? I sent her. And now release Charlotte. And Cunliffe is, he's like, I'm signing the papers right now. How's your son? He's really like, how's your son? But Quig don't realize it. And she's like, oh, he's fitting well. Emily Lacey won't trouble him again. And she's like, well, were the Spartans satisfied? And he like, oh no. He's like, yep. My thing just closed. Get a Puda. He's a sweet Puda. And she's like, were the Spartans satisfied? And he's like, yeah. Let me see if I can find my place. Yup. Thank you for your services. They're no longer needed. And Miss Quigley is like, Madam Quigley is like, huh? What happened? Right? Because she don't know what went down. Okay, so then we're at the dock at the boarding house, and Lennox says he's going to distract North, so he's distracted. North says he's going to distract Lennox. So Lennox is distracted by North while Harriet goes to his room to get her babies. Lennox is like, I own the children. North is like, well, what would my value be? Lennox is like, 15 pounds. North is like, well, you want to know what your value is? Ain't shit as far as I can gather. And then Lennox kind of sees the mama with her leaving with her babies, Harriet leaving with her babies. And he's like, that's my property. You're a thief. Ah! And, they argue. And Lennox is like, call the police. I have the papers. And Harriet is like, I have God's law. And North is like, you'll have to kill me. And Lennox is like, okay, we'll take the half-breeds. But before he said that, I felt like there was something going on. And I don't know why, because, you know, it's probably crazy to have production in 2 different countries, right? But I think that, I don't know why I think that North is about to go to America. But I think he about to go to America with this fool Lennox. But I don't know. Because Lennox, look, you know, it seemed like he got a plan going. Okay, so then we're in jail, and Miss Charlotte is free, but she's still advocating for Irish. When they come and they like, you can go free, Charlotte. She like, yay, come on, baby. And they like, nah, just you. And Charlotte says to him, trust me, I will get you out before the day is done. And so when she goes out, Miss Quigley is waiting for her, Charlotte, and woos Charlotte, come with me, and we will very soon devise your friend Irish's release. And so, you know, Charlotte is kind of like, but she does go with her, because she's like, I'm the only one who here for you. Who here for you? Me. I'm here for you, Quigley. I've been trying to help you, girl. And so just as Quigley and Charlotte are getting into the car, then Mama Wells sees, you know, them walking and getting into, not the car, y'all, the carriage, sees them walking and getting into the carriage. And Mama Wells is like, Charlotte. Okay. Yes, you see that dramatic acting, Bella. And then we're at the Quigley's brothel, and Quigley is introducing Charlotte to everyone. Give her a room, give her a dress. And her son is like, what's she doing here? And, you know, Quigley is like, I'm offering her charity, which, you know, when I wrote the notes, it seemed kind of like it could be offensive, but in that context, it was like, yes, it was a good thing. Okay, so then we see the big boss in Justice Cunliffe's office, and he's, you know, checking Justice Cunliffe. He's like, you know, you in the bog, Quig? You know, why no action on this kidnapping charge against her? And Cunliffe is like, you've been talking to young Oswald. Well, he's in the Harlots, and I've been warning him that he gonna lose his job because we only have the highest standards of propriety in this work that we do. And I think he's trying to save himself by sullying my name. This kidnap was just a tawdry dispute between whores. And the boss is like, that's a shame. Well, we must be vigilant. Justice is a wellspring. The whole city suffers from rot at the head. I'm saying it like that. The big boss, I think he believed Cunliffe, but I don't believe Cunliffe. And I'm like, Cunliffe probably felt guilty when he was saying all that about rot at the head, because he know he rotting at the head and to the core. Okay. And then the big boss leaves, and he says to the assistant Oswald, you fool, you have besmirched yourself. How can I trust the word of a degenerate? And the assistant Oswald is like, I'm telling the truth. And Cunliffe comes out and he's like, you're dismissed. You be gone by the time I get back. And you know what you can do? You can go fuck yourself into an early grave. Okay, so then that's the end of that scene. Then we're at Quig's brothel, and we see Quig negotiating terms with Char. Char is like, what, you gonna try to lock me up in here and make me your slave? And Quig is like, oh no, girl, I want you to be my girl. I want you to be my friend. I want you to be like my daughter, like my bestie. You know, I'm gonna give you the best terms. And Charlotte is like, why? You know, you're free here. We'll find you a keeper. I want your notoriety. Because Charlotte is like, well, what you want with me? She's like, did you see how the people acted when you came in? I want your notoriety. I want the je ne sais quoi that comes from having a harlot like you in the mix. Yes. That's what, Quig is saying. And then, they having this conversation, and we hear Margaret yelling, Charlotte Wells! Charlotte Wells! That seemed like so much like a mama. Like if the children are lost and you at a fair, you be like, my child! My child! Like, she like, where is my daughter at? And then Charlotte comes out and she says, what are you doing here? And Charlotte is like, Well, where else did I have to go? You refused me twice. Mrs. Quickly got me out of jail. You let him arrest me and Daniel Marney. And the Mama Wells is like, to Quigley, well, where is Emily Lacey? Still locked up and beaten in your crypt? And then Quig is like, well, why'd you tell me where she was if you were so concerned about her safety? And then there's a knock at the door. But it sounds louder than that. And then who comes in? There's a knock at the door. And Wells says, I'm going to get the law on you for kidnapping Emily Lacey. And then Quigley says, I'm going to get the law on you for the murder of George Howard. And I think that the murder of George Howard probably trumps the kidnapping of Emily Lacey in terms of the law's opinion, I would guess. And then, lo and behold, here come Emily Lacey. So your case just got even weaker. And Emily says, oh, my two favorite ladies. She don't like neither one of them now. And Quigley is like, would you like some tea, Miss Lacey? See, she's not kidnapped. She's walking around out here. And then Emily Lacey is like, I'm taking more than that. And then Quig and Lacey leave. So Mama Wells is there with Charlotte. And she looking at her. She knows? You told her? And Charlotte is like, you immediately think that I betrayed you. And Mama is like, you're here? And Charlotte is like, she offered me help. And Mama is like, you believe her? And you are an idiot. And Charlotte is like, I am no longer an idiot. I have learned the lesson you taught. Safety is in money. Money is the only power in the world. And I will earn my money here. And the Mama is like, come home. And Char is like, you would save Lucy and leave me to hang. Go! 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 Okay. So then we see Emily Lacey, and she's in the room with the Mama and Charles. With Charles' Mama Quigley and Charles. And she says, Nancy Birch wants me to squeak. But I think that your death would upset Charles. And then Quigley is like, no one believes you, you gutter snipe. And then Charles is like, don't talk to her like that. And then Quigley is like, oh, you on her side after she tried to kill you? When she threatened to have me hanged? And Charles is like, I followed you, and I fought off Cunliffe. Your plans for Emily were worse than hanging. And then Emily is like, I want recompense. And then Charles is like, you shall have it. And then Emily is like, I want the deed to a house. I want my dresses. And I want 100 pounds to help me to settle in. And then Charles and Quigley go off in private. But they're overheard by Miss Charlotte. Quigley says, she tried to kill you. And Charles says, I forgive her, but not you. You are now alone. Give her all that she wants. And then Charlotte enters the room. She senses that she might, have an advantage here, an opportunity to negotiate on her boy's behalf. So she says, after, hearing that Charles has abandoned Quigley, she's like, so are you going to help Marnie? This is Char. And Quig is like, get in my carriage to her peons or whoever. And then she rushes out. And then we see Cunliffe in a restaurant eating. And Quigley enters and she's like, why didn't you tell me? There's a noose around both of our necks. And Cunliffe is like, let me eat in peace, parasite. And Quigley is like, some parasites bring ruin to their hosts. And then she exits. Okay, so then we see Miss Lucy, little girl Lucy, with Nancy. And she's showing Nancy Fallon's contract. And Nancy is like, why haven't you signed it? And Lucy is like, well, I'm going to have to look after my mama if North and Jacob don't return. And then Betsy and Violet, come up, the women who live in the brothel with Nancy or who are associated with Nancy, the S&M lady. And they like talking shit to Lucy, gone home or whatever they say. And they still mad at her and mad at her mama too. Okay, so then we're on the street We see Harriet's 2 children and North's 1 children running and playing. You know, they have this commonality, these children. They both have a black parent or a black or more parent and a white parent. And, and they're both on the street. And all 3 of them are on the street and they're all 3 playing. So it's a happy day. And the adults are walking and talking. And Harriet says, Mrs. Wells and I are not on good terms. I took money here in North is like, well, give it to me. And then Harriet, as Margaret Wells approaches, Margaret Wells sees this from far away. She's approaching, they don't see her. Harriet says, I was on a path of anguish. Now the clouds are clear. I don't know how to thank you. And then baby boy Jacob says, Ma, because he sees Mama Wells there. And then we're back at the Wells brothel, and North is returning the money. And he says this is from Harriet with her apology. She should stay. And then Margaret is like, you took my son. You left me when I needed you the most. And then North is like, I'm back. Cast your mind back to what you did, what I did for you. When a man has dumped a course, he must expiate. I don't know what that means, but basically like, shit, I needed some damn space. I gotta clear that's serious. His sins. And then he's like, I gave her my word and it was right. It was the right thing to do. And Margaret is like, you want her. Go get your reward. And then there's a knock at the door and the men are there to bring Margaret to the courthouse. Woo, these Wells women just stay going to jail. Okay. To the courthouse. Okay, so then we're at the courthouse and Margaret is in Cunliffe's office and he's saying Amelia, of faultless virtue, told me that she saw you carry Sir George out dead. CA. I don't know what that means. Lies. And then Cunliffe. Did you do it? Maybe that was the mom. Maybe I just have a typo. She lies. Those are lies. And then Cunliffe says, did you do it? Or are you protecting someone like your blackamoor? One of your whores? Like Lucy. He's on to something here. I'll bring her in for questioning. And then Margaret is like, no, she's just a girl. And then Cunliffe is like, a child with such a mother. What will become of her when you hang? I admire you for doing this for her. All will go away, though, if you take Amelia to this address and, give her some drugs. Only I know of the virgin's accusation. So, yeah. Okay, so then we see Quig at the club with Fallon. And, she's approaching him. He's like, go away, Bod. I don't want you. And then Quigley is like, I came to give you a warning. Cunliffe is setting you up. Deal with me. Cut out the spineless middleman whose master is the law. I am the finest in the field. I am the only one fit to serve the Spartans. You need a high priestess. Okay, so then that's the end of that. Then we see Charlotte at Sir George's place. Charlotte is saying to Haxby, take back your lies. And then the wife, Lady Carolyn, comes down the stairs. How dare you set foot in this house? And then Charlotte is like, look, I know I have no right to ask, but an innocent man is in jail. Mr. Haxby's lies condemn him. And the wife is like, did you lie, Haxby? Do you lie? And Haxby is like, you wanted her brought low. Accept my guidance on this. I did the right thing. And the wife is like, I am a widow now. I need no man's guidance. You are fired. Again, dang, Haxby, he just keep getting fired. And then she's like, well, basically she's like, whoever killed my husband, I am glad that I am free. I will speak for your friend. So then we see Margaret Wells meeting Amelia and Mama Scamwell on the street. Mama Wells asks, So do you still want to leave quickly? Because I got a house for you to see. Come on, Amelia, look at this house for your mom. And then Amelia's like, oh, Mrs. Wells, you are too good. Quigley drained my mom of her strength and her health. In this house, it's a new beginning. I did wrong at the courthouse. I was forced to by Quig. And Margaret had offered her tea, and the girl was just about to drink the tea when she made her confession about hurting the will, lying. And Margaret's, don't drink the poison tea. Cunliffe had me to leave you here drugged for you to be raped in exchange for my life. And Margaret Wells, she goes outside and she sees the Molly boy, or the fancy guy, dress guy. And she's like, what are you doing? Who are you spying for? He's like, I'm looking after my friend Amelia Scamwell. And Margaret is like, okay, go get Nancy and North to help your friend. And then to Amelia, go. And Amelia is like, to capture a beast, you must have bait. I will be the bait. Okay, so then we see Betsy and the assistant Oswald making out as Lucy is watching with Vi. And Lucy is like, does she like him or will she charge him for it? And Vi is like, yes and yes. And Lucy is like, I couldn't quite make out what she says. And then Nancy comes in. I don't know. She's like, I hate men. I think that, but But anyway, Nancy comes in and she says to Oswald, who's the assistant, because I need you. And then North arrives at the house where Margaret and Amelia are, where they were supposed to leave the drugged virgin. And Amelia pretends to be drugged. Then Cunliffe comes in and he's like, well done. And Margaret's like, well, it's easier than I thought. And Cunliffe is like, once your conscience peels away, you can do anything. Lydia Quigley is a wrap. It's been 20 years, but her fall is your ascent. And he's gathering Amelia up. And to Amelia, who's supposed to be drugged, he says, suffering purifies the soul. It will bring you closer to God, as he's about to usher her in the carriage. And then there's like a crowd of people and they yell out, kidnap! Justice Cunliffe! They shouting them out. And then a cloaked person who's in the carriage leaves and stabs Cunliffe. And he's like, he's cloaked and he's in the shadows. And I guess nobody hardly noticed him in all the mess and confusion. And then they all gather around Cunliffe as he dies. And then the Molly boy, he sees all of this. And he also sees the uncloaking of Fallon as he drops his knife. So he leaves, he takes off his cloak, he drops his knife, and the Molly boy sees all of this. And then we see Shar watching the Irishman leaving the jail, and he's thanking Lady Carolyn. And then we see Shar at the brothel. She looked kind of weird when he was thanking Lady Carolyn. And then we see Shar at the Quigley brothel, and she approaches Quig, and Quig is reading a note that says, justice is dead, plus something else I couldn't make out, even though I rewound it twice. And then Charlotte asks Quig, what's wrong? And Quigley says, my friend is dead. And then Shar offers her hand in condolence. I guess her friend is Justice, like it's a coded message, like justice is dead, but like Justice Cunliffe is dead. Okay, so then we're at Nancy, and she's hanging up a punching bag, and she's teaching Lucy to be an S&M, beating up Madam Lady type thing, and like tell them why you hate them. Get out all your frustration and anger at men. This is your opportunity. So then we're at Quigley's, and Quigley is descending the staircase, and she's followed by her twinsy Char. And then Irish comes and he asks Charlotte, what are you doing here? And Charlotte says, one night of loving me almost cost you your life. I am not to love or to be loved. And Irish is like, what kind of demented thinking is that? Come on, let's go. We can have our freedom. We can be who we please. And Charlotte is like, everything that me and my sissy are comes down to this. My mom was sold to a bard at age 10 to work as a whore. That's Quig. Fate put me here with Quig. And now I will bring Lydia Quigley down. That is my purpose now. And then we're at Emily Lacey's house. This is a montage. And we see Charles watching Emily Lacey's house, as in she's a madam now. Does this episode feel like a season finale? Is it the season finale? But anyway, she's at, so Emily Lacey she's a madam now. So there are 3 brothels in town. 3 harlot houses that we know of. And then we see Amelia running up and kissing Violet just full out on the street in public. And then we see Shar and Lydia like besties, mom and daughter entertaining in the Quigley brothel. And then we see Harriet about to approach North and Jacob, but is stopped by seeing Margaret join her family. And then we see Margaret watching without comment as Fanny +1 is enjoying Fanny's little baby. And then we see Margaret going outside. And then a confident, grown-up Lucy, we can't call her little girl Lucy now. She's Lickum Lucy. Lucy approaches and she says, "I'm ready, Ma." And that's the end of the episode. That's all I got. I'm really enjoying this show. And I enjoyed the episode. And it really felt like a season finale to me. Like next season we open up and it's 3 brothels in town. And what's the child? The last one who got the brothel, she hate both of the other brothel people. And she trying to bring them down. And it's North. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to happen next? Anyway, that's all I got. Have a wonderful, fabulous day. Be you, be fabulous you. Mwah. Peace.